Hello there, and welcome to Unveil Your Brilliance with Angilie Kapoor here on the Win Win Women TV network, where each week we explore helping you to break free from the illusions that are holding you back. My name is Angilie Kapoor. I am a conscious leadership coach, a best selling multi book author, and inspirational speaker, as well as your host. I'm also the founder of my coaching company, Oversight Global, where we are on a mission to address the consciousness crisis in the world, one leader at a time. He, or in our case, she, who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Now, this quote was spoken by the charismatic and fearless boxing legend Muhammad Ali, and he was right on. If you're not willing to take the courage to get out of comfort zone, you can't grow or therefore succeed. Now, as always, I like to share a quote with you that relates to the topic of our episode discussions, and this week is no different. On today's episode, we have an amazing guest joining us to share her inspiring story as a pro athlete and sports pioneer, how she broke gender and race barriers in powerlifting and bobsledding, and now her mindset propelled her to become a world champion. But before I bring her on, again, just a friendly reminder to keep a lookout for our episode segments, our show pillars, which we make sure we touch on each week. And they are brilliant mindset, breaking free, and brilliant strategies during our discussion. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome our special guest for today, world record holding powerlifter and sports pioneer, Krista Ford, onto the show. Now, I am so thrilled for our guest for today that we have here with us. Now, before I bring her on, let me tell you a bit more about her. Now, Krista Ford has been called a living legend. As a pioneer of the sports world, she's broken gender and race barriers. She's defied gender norms in the male dominated sport of powerlifting for more than 40 years. Now, during this time, she's earned the title of national champion 14 times and world champion 7 times, setting national and world records along the way. Krista was the first Black female bobsledder for the U.S. women's team. She was also part of the first women's team to win a silver medal at the International Women's Bobsled Cup race in 1998 in Winterberg, Germany. Now, while training others and competing as a professional powerlifter, Krista pays it forward in other ways. Her philosophy of talk, teach, and coach can be seen in how she shares her experience, knowledge, and passion for living the magic of life. It is this philosophy that she shares that has allowed her to be free, strong, and power filled even through adversity. Now, Krista's book, Krista's Promise, is a self help spiritual memoir that will inspire while sharing secrets to living the magic of life, and it's expected to come out this fall. Krista believes that if you vibrate on a high level spiritually, mentally, and physically, you will have all the components you need to live a happy, healthy, and wealthy life. So get ready to be inspired and empowered, ladies, as we welcome to the show Krista Ford. Krista, I'm so excited to have you here.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Of
Appreciate it.
course, as always, I love our conversations.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm sure that the ladies are intrigued just by the introduction that I just read to them. I mean, you're a professional athlete, so you've broken all kinds of norms and set all kind of records. So, just can you share with the ladies more about your story and how that kind of came about and how you did that?
Okay, so my name is Krista Ford, and yes, I'm a professional athlete. My passion and my love is my sport of powerlifting. So at the end of the day, the strongest man and the strongest woman win at the end of the day in our competitions. This is honestly from day one for me has been a gift from God, and that's the truth. I've always had this gift, athleticism. I've always had this gift of loving anything outdoors, playing. I've always loved anything that has to do with me, hop, skipping, and jumping, playing tag, recreational stuff with my friends growing up. I just was always outside playing. So then I just actually found my niche in that, and I
Mhm.
ended up turning it into being on a team in a sport in school. And then I really enjoyed that because in all of that, there's a lot of great camaraderie that you have
Mhm.
amongst yourselves. There's a lot of depending and relying on each one to perform well as a team too as well to make your coaches happy and everything. And I just like the whole team spirit of being in sports, even up to this day, the same way. I love that family oriented atmosphere.
Right.
That's your family outside of your regular family in so many ways. And so you have fun with everybody on your team, and that's really where it all started at for me. Like I've just always been in this, and as I grew older, it just got better.
Mm-hmm.
Better. I met more amazing people, more people on the U.S. team with me, traveled, just got a chance to really engage in so much more that sports can allow anyone to have, especially when you're on a team with a bunch of other people.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that the ladies who are watching are usually, or typically women who are kind of struggling to really unveil their brilliance. They're, working 9 to 5s, taking care of their family. Sometimes they're caregivers to their parents as well. So they have all these responsibilities, but they don't really feel like they're living a life that, allows them to really be who they truly are and to really shine the light that they have within them. We know that it's God given, and that's, what we're supposed to be doing is shining our light into the world. So, can you kind of share with the ladies the type of kind of mindset that you feel like you needed to have and being in especially a male dominated sport? And, as we know, sports can be competitive. And so, how did you kind of deal with that competitiveness in a positive, good way?
Well, for me, I'm just going to go back to one thing that you kind of said about women that we are like, to me, the superheroes of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Women are. We are so able to multitask and do 1,000 jobs in one thing. But
Right.
I believe that and I'll get back to my mindset about my sport, but I think so many women forget them. They
Mm.
forget themselves, and they forget that you can't constantly keep putting into everybody else and forgetting you and
Right.
neglecting you. So for me, in thinking about that, when I got into this male dominated sport, I was surprised to know this. This was what I was very surprised to know. Some of the biggest guys in the world that compete with me, just huge men. I mean, 6'5", 300 some plus pounds, big, awesomely huge men. They are so unlike what they look like. Meaning, I'm in a male dominated world, but I'm in a well accepted world of that these huge men and male dominated powerlifting, like it is, has always from day one been so accepting of
Mm-hmm.
females coming in and competing in this sport. So for me, it was an easy peasy going into powerlifting because regardless if it was male dominated, I was always accepted in nicely.
Oh,
I
wow.
never had any of the guys treat me any different. I
Mm-hmm.
never had any of the guys treat me like they didn't want me there, and they were chauvinist, and this is our little playing ground and you need to get out and we don't need no women here. I've never experienced that, which is a nice thing to be able to go through. So that helped me in my mindset when I got in.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I felt very comfortable. Second of all, I was very accepted. And even in my sport, that sport of powerlifting, even then, there still wasn't a lot of Black females doing what I do.
Right.
I wasn't the first, but there wasn't a lot. But I have always had this mindset that I'm at home. It's like I'm walking right back into my house
Mm-hmm.
because everybody is so loving and family oriented and so forth. And I think that helps a lot in your mindset because that to me propelled me forward over and over again because I looked forward to every year if I was going overseas to competing or being here in the States. I looked forward to every year hanging around the guys, hanging around the other girls, and just hanging around everybody. And I just look forward to it. It gave me something to look forward to every year. So my mindset was very focused, but my mindset was also and has always been I have fun doing this. This
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of fun doing what I do. In some sports, like my bobsled, which was a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
that's very male dominated, very good old boy network. So there's a different dynamics on how I worked out with them as far as my brain is concerned. This is my powerlifting, which I've been doing for the longest. So
Mm, mm.
yeah,
Yeah, a couple of things came up for me when you were talking there. So, environment sounds like it was huge for you. And I know that as women, we tend to have this perspective that we've grown up with this kind of perspective of if we ask for help, then that
yeah,
is a weakness. Or, if we can't do it ourselves, then that's a failure. And so, one of the components that I always point out and being able to really improve and get to and grow and really progress in life is really having the component of being an environment that's ripe for growth and success. So I think you definitely pointed that out with your own experience. And then the other thing that you mentioned was that you had fun. And, I
oh,
think that even if we are doing something that we're not really passionate about, or it's just kind of going through the motions of our day, if we do it from the place of being grateful, of having gratitude, then
yes,
it opens the doors for other things to come into our life, and those things that we kind of don't like doing, we end up being able to do them and not really paying much attention to it, and before we
right.
know it, we've done them.
Exactly. And you're kind of like sometimes when you're doing things like you said that you might not really particularly want to do,
Hmm.
you're kind of on autopilot sometimes.
Right.
You're just going. But if you can find just that little thing that makes you happy, even about that one thing that you really just, whatever, you can find some kind of way to get around that and get into that one little space. That little space will carry you quite a ways.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
definitely.
So,
Yeah. I
but
know that,
yeah,
spoken to several people who have overcome, these big traumas and tragedies. And one thing that I always find in common with all of them, because, they're in such a positive place now, is that they really looked for the silver lining. And even the most traumatic, horrible things that they went through, is they could always find something, even if it was small, to be grateful for. So I think that we can do that with basically anything, no matter how bad we might think something is.
some
So
things
yeah,
is, and you said an operative word, grateful.
yeah.
We have got to always have an attitude of gratitude in life. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you're doing. You need to be thankful that you're breathing, you're alive, you got a roof over your head. And let's just say, if there's a different case, homeless,
Yeah.
you know, you think about what can they really be grateful for? Well, they could be grateful for that they woke up the next day. They
Mm-hmm.
could be grateful for that maybe God has put in their mindset to always keep pushing forward, to always try to do better, or try to get themselves in a place where they can get themselves out of that situation. But they always be looking forward in a very optimistic way, even
Yeah.
in a situation like that. So you said a huge word, gratitude. You got to be thankful. You have
Yeah.
to be thankful for absolute everything in your life, so that you know this very well, and I know you get what I'm going to say. You're gonna be like, yeah, then you will receive more of what you already have as long as you're grateful for what you have already. You'll start
Exactly.
continually getting more and more of what you already have. But you got to be grateful for what you already have in the first place. Very important.
Exactly.
Very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, definitely. I definitely call gratitude our superpower. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
it's it's something we can all do. We don't need to go to special schooling or
Nope.
training to be able to do it. It takes seconds to do. You can do it anywhere. And so
Yep.
yeah, I definitely that for me, in my personal journey has been huge for me in overcoming things that I've overcome. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Gratitude is huge.
And it is so easy for us humans
Oh yeah.
to forget that.
Hmm.
We just go on with our lives, everything's so busy, and you forget to say thank you.
Hmm.
Even for somebody saying something, a kind gesture to you or a kind word, we forget to say thank you for those things. Those are small things, but they pack a lot of punch with
Yeah.
those little things. And so all of us are guilty of that, just taken for granted. We take for granted a lot. I've been through that journey too, and still continue to try to keep myself on the right path. But it's tough for all of us. But like you said, if you see that silver lining at the end, there's your superpower.
Hmm.
There's what's going to get you moving. And especially for women, because we are so resilient, and we
Yes.
and we carry the load. We really do. We carry the load. Basically, we're the superpowers and we're the superheroes. And that's the truth. Because I really honestly don't think the male species can do not even close to the task a woman has to do. When I say the whole thing, keeping the family together, being a mom, being a wife, being working. I mean, good grief, you got all of it to do.
Hmm.
So yeah. So we're superpower people anyway.
Yes, we are. And then you have literally carried a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Is that I literally and that no pun intended, but yes, definitely. Yes, I have. I've actually done that. Yes. I've carried that weight.
So let's talk about women who are watching this. And, we've explained that you got into professional sports, powerlifting, and also bobsledding. So what would your kind of tips be to a woman who's kind of sitting watching this and she's like, she has this big dream, but being on a professional stage and being in a professional sport, it looks so far out there and so big. And she might be thinking, oh, how am I going to get from where I am today to there? Can you kind of give her like maybe the first three steps that you would advise her to take for her to get on that path to reaching that dream and goal she has?
So I would say the first step is definitely make your plan out. You got to
Mhm.
write out what you want that you already see it happening for you. So say that list might say when I get here, not
Yes.
if, and when I have achieved this. So write down that, put that little list together immediately
Mhm.
that says like you already have it. So you already get your mindset and your energy already in that it's already done. Then you need to start doing your research. So say, like you said, there's a female out there, then she's going, I've always inspired to be, I'm just gonna throw something out there, a marathon runner,
Mhm.
or she likes running or whatnot. Do your research and start trying to find the right cultivated team to put around you to help you get to that goal. Meaning, go, go out there and look for that coach. Go out there and research. Find out who can teach you and help you get to the next level with that. That's very important. And I would say the third thing is once you find that person, then you have to sit down with yourself and know that if you get that person is going to want you to come to them very serious and ready to go. They're not going to be wanting you to play around and hem haw about it or procrastinate about it. When you find that person that can help you, or that team, or that other partner that maybe just wants to do it with you, that's a teammate too.
Mhm.
Once you find that, then you have to get serious, get ready, and start telling yourself it's time to do the work. I need to dive into it, but it's time. So at that point, then you're ready to go. But you gotta I think you need to kind of just do a couple of those steps first. And then once it's time, especially if you get the coach. So say someone comes to me, they say,
Mhm.
Chris, I really want to powerlift and I really want to do this. Now the first thing that's gonna come out of my mouth is, are you ready? Are you ready? And if you say yes, come on, let's go. We ain't got no
Mhm.
time to waste. Let's get on it. Let's start. And then that to me helps that female start moving. She's starting to move toward that direction. It might take 1 year, it might take 100 years. So you're still moving. You're going in that direction. As long as you keep going in that direction, to me, like I said earlier, it always gives you something cool to look forward to doing the next year, the next year, the next year. You have something to look forward to,
Mhm.
whether that be you're training and getting ready for something, or you're learning about it and getting all your ducks in a row so you can start moving. Whatever the case may be, that's when it starts being fun because you're driving yourself constantly going, wow, I'm really looking forward to this training today. I'm really looking forward to learning a little bit more. I'm getting closer and closer to this goal that I've been wanting to do forever in my life. I just
Right.
didn't know how to do it. But now I got the plan. Now I got the path. Now it's time to walk. Let's walk, then run, then we're gone. That's it. End the story at that point. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Plan, research, and get serious. So I love how you said when you were talking about planning is really see the vision. Like envision yourself already accomplishing that goal. I think, a gift that not all of us are aware that we all have, this blessing
Mhm.
from God, is a gift of being able to manifest. And so, yeah. And so one of the things that I've learned and have really having fun with is when I set a goal for myself, is really already envisioning myself having
Having the
already
goal.
completed it. Yeah.
Yes.
And who
Yeah.
who am I when in
Yeah.
that when I do that, and then really start to become and embody that person, so that I can attract that
That
manifestation.
back
So
to you, as well
yeah,
as I totally agree, and as well as this, if you can think it and feel it, you're gonna be it. So
exactly.
you gotta do more than think about it.
Hmm.
You gotta see yourself in that. I'm just gonna throw something out there. See yourself in that house that you've always wanted.
Right.
Go and shop for that house. Go look at that house. Walk in it. So you
Hmm.
envision yourself being right there, how it feels. And then you're right. Then look out, because that dream's getting ready to come true because you've already see yourself sitting in it, doing it, being it, feeling it. You're there. Even though
Exactly.
you don't have it yet, but at least you can go and sit in it and see how that feels. I want to know how this is going to feel when I get it.
Hmm.
I want to feel all of that. So you're right, exactly. We have such a gift of manifestation. All we gotta do is ask God too, but we gotta do our work. So
Exactly.
you gotta be always, like you said, you really gotta envision it,
Hmm.
that it can happen. You can't doubt that. So if you really want something for yourself, it's very important for you. You gotta not doubt that for a second that you can get that thing, but you gotta start thinking good. You gotta start feeling it, and it's a lot more. You can't just think it and think that's going to manifest it. No, no, no. You gotta feel it too.
Right.
So yes, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And what you're touching on is a crucial point that, I've learned recently about manifestation is that 80/20 trap. We always kind of function where we are, we ask God for this blessing, but then like you said, we kind of hijack it
Yeah,
because we're
we
like, I asked you, but I'm going to do all the work. You
yes,
know?
yeah,
So we put all this action in, we work so hard, and then when it doesn't happen the way that
yeah,
we want or by the time we want, we get mad, right? But
yep,
really, it's
yep.
80% of it is internal work, like you're saying. So it's the mindset, it's
It
your
is.
energy, it's
It is.
really feeling it and believing it. And then the other 20 is the actual actions that you're taking, but remembering that you are co-creating, you're in a co-creation relationship with God. So it's
Yes.
not I ask and then I'm gonna go off on my own and try and do it. You're
Right.
you're you're in sync and on this path with God.
You are. And because it is so and you touching on everything exactly what I'm feeling and thinking too. But we as humans are so stubborn and we're so want to be in control.
Yes.
We'll ask God for something and then we'll say, well, wait a minute, God, let me control it. And you're like, I'm sure you sit over going, why are you asking me for then? If you feel like you can do it all by yourself, then don't ask me. You just go do it then, and
Exactly.
I found that for myself. We just are innately that way. We want to control every freaking thing that happens in our life. And we actually don't have any control over none of it. But all we can
Exactly.
do is do the best we can. But you're right. We have to believe. We have to believe. As long as we believe in that smallest little increment of a dream that you have,
Hmm.
that dream, I promise you, will come true. You
Yes.
just gotta believe in it and stay on it. Don't get off of it. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust God. And between those two conversations right there, those two combinations, you got it. It's gonna work.
Exactly.
It has to work. It cannot not work. It cannot not work. So
Exactly. Yeah, you just gotta have faith. You gotta believe, and you gotta surrender. And I mean, I think a lot of us get held up on, well, how is it gonna happen? Or
yes,
if you can't see a way for the how to happen, then you're like, oh, it's not gonna happen. But
yeah.
don't worry about the how. You've already set the intention. Let God worry about the how. He's gonna get you there. So
And that's a lot of the law of attraction, what I study all the time. It's
mhm,
like all you need to know is the what. What do you want?
exactly.
Then you leave the how it's going to happen up to God in the universe to
Hmm.
put it together. Because we might not, I've been there many times, even right now in my life. I don't know exactly how, and I don't have no strategy of how that's got actually going to work. But all I know is God knows I know the what. I know what I want. I know I'm passionate about it. I know what I want. But you're right. We all we have to do is and with the law of attraction, those four decide what you want, believe you can have it, believe you deserve it, and believe it's possible for you.
Exactly.
You follow those four things right there. Decide. You got to decide what you want first. That includes every woman out here. Decide what you want,
Yes.
right? And then believe. There's that word. Believe you can have it. Believe you deserve it. I deserve this. I've worked hard all my life. I deserve this, and believe that it is possible. If you notice, I keep saying believe. That's a big word there. But once we do that, like you said, there's your manifestation. I guarantee you. I promise you, it's gonna come true. It has to. It really has to. It cannot. It really cannot go another direction, because that positive and that those good affirmations and that good intention in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, in your feeling, in your thoughts, it will project that great thing in your life. It has to. It's not a negative thing. We're not talking about something very negative. You're not sitting around going, "Oh, well, I wish I could have that. I don't know." No, you're not saying none of that. You're saying, "I want this. I'm gonna get it. I deserve it, and I know it's gonna happen." That's really it at the end of the day. So yes, I agree. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for explaining that. So unfortunately, we are out of time. I hate that when I'm talking to you because we could go on for hours.
Me and you could talk for 5,000 years. I swear.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. But do you have any final thoughts that you would love to share with the ladies who are watching?
You know what I saw the other day that really resonated with me, and it was I heard it on. I saw it on. I was written on something, and it said, "All gas, no brakes."
Mm,
And I thought about what that meant. That means once you have that thought, that feeling, that set in your brain, in your heart, that you want to go after something, push on the gas and don't break. Go.
yes.
Keep going, keep going. And when I saw that, I just, oh my God, I was like, wow, if that's not true for anybody who maybe at certain times in their life, it might not be time for that all gas, no brakes. But
Right.
when it is time and when you feeling that and it's coming in and you're like, somebody's nudging you going, go, which is most of the time is God and yourself going, let me move. Then you just push on that gas and no brakes. All gas, no brakes. That's my advice to any woman that's hearing this right now. Whatever you feel in your heart that you really want to do, push on the gas. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't give up. Keep moving. And you'll get it. You will.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure having you on. It's such an honor.
Thank you. No, thank you. I'm honored because we just have that great kindred spirit, and it's nice to talk to other people who obviously the energy is right and you're aligned. We're aligned, right? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and that is it for today's episode on Talk, Teach, Coach, Krista Ford's philosophy for success, with our special guest, world record holding powerlifter and sports pioneer, Krista Ford. I want to thank Krista again for joining us today and for sharing her inspiring journey as a pro athlete and sports pioneer, how she broke gender and race barriers in powerlifting and bobsledding, and how her mindset propelled her to become a world champion and helping us to further unveil our brilliance. And I also want to thank you, you beautiful soul, for being here with me today as well. As I've mentioned before, I don't believe in coincidences, and you, bright light, were meant to be here to receive whatever it is you were meant to receive from this episode today. So keep it up, keep showing up, and making progress towards unveiling your brilliance. Now, if you're here with me live, be sure to join me in the second half of the show for Brilliant Connections, where I get to meet you and get to know you, and you're able to ask me any questions you might have from today's episode topic. If you're catching this on replay, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you'll check out our previous episodes as well on winwinwomen.tv/show/unveil your brilliance, as well as join me live next week. Remember, like the charismatic and fearless boxing legend Muhammad Ali said, he, or in our case, she, who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. So don't let the illusion of comfort keep you from shining your brilliance bright light. Find the courage to step out of your comfort zone and embrace your extraordinary brilliance. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. My ladies here with me live. I'll see you in just a few seconds.